Welcome, Aries, to your June Moon Magic Deep Dive Forecast for the Ascendant, the Sun, or the Moon. The month of June has four key lunations, but at the very end of May, we had a blue moon, and that provides an influence through the first 2 weeks of the month of June. I'm going to unpack each of these five lunations. The moon's very much about nurture, protectiveness, security, can be our immediate environment, our roots, where we live, who with and how, but also our family interactions. Looking at the month from a purely moon perspective, and by the end of the video, you'll have a clearer understanding of what's upcoming as far as your energy, work, relationships, and finances. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. You come into this month, I think, in the need for a degree of variety, certainly to change things up. You may find yourself being a bit more impetuous around your resources. Your ruler Mars arced into the full moon in the free-spirited, passionate sign of Sagittarius in a quincunx, which could bring out a more stubborn side of your nature, particularly around shared finances. But also the moon in Sagittarius can be a truth seeker. So if there's been something going on towards the end of May, and as you come into the new month, which does require you to really get in touch with your higher purpose, that's what that blue moon is asking you to do in the first half of June. Fast forwards to the 8th, we get the first of the two very important quarter moons. Like the full moon before, it's in the mutable sign of Pisces. Pisces and the moon position is a very shimmering, opaque, mystical energy. But for you, it's very much about healing, and it's being in touch with giving yourself permission, perhaps to step back a little bit and get some moments of peace and tranquility. But if anyone shares any information over the next week, particularly gossip, your best tact is actually to turn the other cheek. You may also feel a bit more sensitive to what you're reading or watching online. So just be aware that the information that buzzes around these days can drain us, and I think it can have that effect on you in that following week. At the very heart of the month, we have a new moon in the bright and effervescent sign of Gemini. The interesting thing here is the moon is in Peregrine, doesn't really know what to do with itself. The moon prospers, of course, in Cancer and in Taurus, where it is the ruler and is exalted in turn, but in Gemini, an air sign and mutable, very much about how we think and we use our mental faculties. The moon's more about feeling, but it is a new moon which forges a semi-sextile to Jupiter, the planet of good fortune, and that's in the healing sign of Cancer, where it too is in its exaltation. So there could be a conversation you have over the following month, which actually does have a very good impact in terms of where you live and being more at the heart of things. If you invite people around and play host, that wouldn't be a surprise either. Mars, the planet which rules your sign, still in the sign of Taurus as it was at the start of the month, is also in an impressive link with Mercury. Old ideas or contacts recycled and rethought can be very helpful to you. That brings us to the second of the quarter moons, and that's in the sign of Balance, a cardinal sign, Libra. But the intriguing thing about this particular quarter moon is it comes on the solstice. It's exactly on the 21st, and it occurs, therefore, right at the very start of Libra. Libra energy, very much about equality, balance, and equilibrium. But in a way, there is a challenge here between what we want from our relationships and what is truly right for us in terms of our emotions. Now, the key is the moon is the ruler of the sign of Cancer. So that beginning of cardinal quadrant 2, as the sun returns to Cancer, and the second 13-week segment of the year reinforces the moon energy, but we still need to be aware that with the moon challenging the sun in that 90-degree angle, there is a little bit of a juggle to achieve. That brings us to the Capricorn full moon, which occurs on the 29th, the same day when Mercury in Cancer goes into the second of its retrogrades of the year, again in a water sign, like it did before in Pisces. But the moon in Capricorn is in its detriment. It's not its favorite location. Capricorn is a sign of physical culmination. It's very much about the practical, structural side of life. The moon's much more about how we feel about things. We can have a house, but if it's got no soul, it won't be a very happy one to live in, however grand it may be. And that can be one of the things we can all think about as the month comes to a close. But I would say, as far as you're concerned, it's a classic work-life balance scenario because of the energy in the sign of Cancer building up with the sun moving into the sign. Mars is also linked dynamically to Jupiter from the 21st through to the 28th. And we also have Jupiter coming to the end of its story in the sign of Cancer. It's a big time for perhaps transforming where you live or being in touch with your soul energy as far as your emotions. But if you're not enjoying what you're doing for your living, or you're not enjoying who you work with, there can be a challenge as this month comes to a close with that Capricornian full moon. So, to summarize for you, Aries, a lot of conversation in the first half of the month, and that conversation gets a chance to really sparkle from the new moon of the 15th. But really, the nub of this month is conversations which really are in touch with how you feel, which is ironic because that's what the moon is all about. I'm going to summarize those four areas: energy, work, relationships, and finances next. But just to say, I've reduced the price of my personal horoscope reports. It's now 3 for the price of 1. For many years, it was buy 2, get 30% off. I've reduced them because of the cost of living increases. What you buy is your life roadmap report, 3, your 12 months transit forecast, but also your Draconic Soul Karmic Analysis. Please see below for more. If you've yet to watch your June monthly forecast, please check that out on the screen. If you've yet to watch my deep dive blue moon forecast for each of the 12 signs, but specifically for Aries, please check that out. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, it'd be an absolute pleasure. Please see my testimonials below. And if you've yet to take advantage of my free daily written horoscope, fired to your device each morning for your early day celestial pit stop, please do so below now. It's a month when your ideas and the way you deliver those ideas is definitely going to be very much to the fore. And things can speed up. And if you've really got your plan well structured as you come into this month, you can execute it brilliantly. But just know Mercury, the communicator, is working its way through a water sign from the first of the month. And therefore, that more emotional energy that the moon brings, and at times, perhaps a more subjective energy, and I don't mean that rudely, can be to the fore, particularly from the 13th when Mercury goes into its pre-retrograde shadow. But there is a chance to manifest some lovely things around your home and emotional life as much as your professional one. But I think in terms of your energy, it is a time to just be aware that whatever we're trying to do, it's important that it feels right. And that's the big existential question for you. As far as your career is concerned, I think the movement of that of the moon right at the end of the month into the sign of Capricorn is certainly asking you whether you're enjoying what you do. Sometimes we can't always enjoy it, but you certainly need to feel comfortable in your role, and that's the big question. As far as your financial situation is concerned, there could be some happy news linked to a property matter or even a family loan or legacy, which becomes clear in week 2. And as far as your romantic situation is concerned, I think it's entirely possible that you could meet someone through someone you know well, somewhere that you're very familiar with, or perhaps someone linked to a close friend in your community. Have a great June. Thank you so much for joining me. All the best and see you again soon.